can't see where I am. Where's the, did you pay the bill?
What bill? Is it Bill?
Bill?
No, not Bill. Okay, he must have said something else. Okay, forget about Bill.
He said I was crazy.
What?
It's on your face.
Alice told me that I was right out of my head for what he described it. He said I'd be better dead than alive. I didn't listen to his jive. I knew all along he was all wrong, and I knew that he thought I was crazy, but I'm not. No. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. He said I need treatment, but I'm not that easily led. He said I was the type that was most inclined when out of his sight to be out of my mind, and he thought I was nuts. No more ifs, or ands, or buts. Oh no.
Say, as a child, I appeared a little bit wrong and crazy ideas. I knew what was happening. I knew I was a genius. What's so strange when you know that you're a wizard at 3? I said, this is meant to be.
They say little children are supposed to sleep tight. That's when I drank a fifth of vodka one night. My parents got so frantic, didn't know what to do. And I saw some crazy things before I came to. Now, do you think I was crazy? I had maybe only 3, but I was swinging. They all left an A, ring a bell. They all left an A, C, and also Einstein. So why should I feel sorry if they just didn't understand the reasoning and the logic that went on in my head? I had a brain, it was insane, so I just let them laugh at me when I refused to ride on all those double-decker buses just because there was no driver on the top. What? No driver on the top? Yeah. How could that be seen?
My analyst told me that I was right out of my head, but I said, dear doctor, I think that it's you instead because I got a thing that's unique and new. I'll prove it. I'll have the last laugh on you because instead of one head, I got 2. And you know 2 heads are better than one. So twisted.
I've been stealing jewelry off of corpses for years. Grandma will be a fucking cinch. Let me go back. The phone call of the dead always comes between midnight and 1 a.m. Before midnight, the call could be anyone, for any reason. After 1, it's a wrong number, dialed in Spain. But if the call comes in between midnight and 1, the news is a houseboat on the river Styx. And no mistake, Charlie. When I get back to my apartment from the Viper room, the electronic guy on the answering machine says, 12:48. It's Donald's voice. Ugh. Hi-ho, Mac. Father this end. We're at the Philadelphia house. Call us collect ASAP. Hope A-OK your end. 10-4. My father never says goodbye. He says 10-4 or A-OK. It's a superstition. If he says goodbye, he knows he'll die soon in a fiery plane crash. Oh, I look at the clock near the bed. 4:36 a.m. If it's 4:30 in Los Angeles, it means it's 7:30 in America. They'll be up by now in Philadelphia, which is unfortunate, because it means my call will not wake them. I pour her a drink. Vodka. Oh, as it's morning. And I dial. Donald picks up. It's Nettie, he says. She died last night at Norton Place. We're driving down. Can you get a flight to Pittsburgh? Do you need anything? Yes, I say, I can get a flight out. And no, I don't need anything. Anything in our family means money. Roger then, says Donald, over and out. She's dead. My grandmother, Nettie James, is dead. This is my moment. My destiny has called me. I pour another vodka, and I rifle through a shoebox in the closet to find a cracked black and white photograph I know is there. This photo goes back with me. I look at the figure passed out on the bed. Someone in black named Raymond, or Charlotte, or Lassie. That won't go back with me. I should call US Air to see if I can get a flight at 9. But first I look in my wallet. A 20 and 3 ones. The bank account is overdrawn. All my plastic is strictly dead zone. I need money for a plane ticket and a rental car, and 3 days in the worst place on earth. I will have to go to work. The LA Times is delivered early, so I head for the door and go straight for Section D. Rosalind Marquardt, 83, Tarzana. No. Elizabeth Quilty, 69, West Hollywood, nope. Miriam Cass, 86, Beverly Hills. Miriam Cass, survived by her husband Maurice, viewing at 9. So I'll get a later flight. By 9 o'clock, I'm at the funeral home on Sunset Boulevard. My bag's in the back of the taxi I've asked to wait. I dawdle until a crowd is formed. Oof, a sea of blue hair and blue stoles. Maurice must be the old blind guy in the 1964 Savile Row suit. I pay my respects to Maurice, my condolences. How I met Miriam. Oh, Mimi, yes, on the trip to Ceylon, exactly. Oh, how Mimi spoke of Maurice. Yes, while he was sick in their stateroom. I'll just say goodbye. And then there I am in the line, 2 people away from the score, open casket. I inhale. Swallow. Somehow in this business, it's always the first time. I close my eyes, and bite my lip, and the tears well up. I bend over to kiss Miriam goodbye, noting that she is absolutely encrusted. 2 pecks on the corpse, 1 on either side of the face, in the continental manner. When I pull back, I have my mouth firmly shut. A supreme effort not to lose control of my emotions. Once I'm in the cab, I open my mouth and take out the earrings. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Rubies. My fence will give me $3,000 for them, which is enough for an open-end plane ticket, a good rental car, and plenty of scratch until I get mine from Nettie James. 4 hours later, on a plane over the tundra, a glass of champagne stapled to my palm. Thomas Wolfe once wrote, "You can't go home again." Thomas Wolfe was a putz. Of course you can go home again. They make you go home all the time, endlessly. But this time is different. I'm going to get something from this trip. High over Ohio, I imagine I'm a guest on the Charlie Rose show. The dark background, the Persian carpet, the good wood. Jodie Foster has just left, and Gore Vidal is in the wings. Charlie turns his cleft to me. "How'd you get your start in, well, I guess we'd have to call it corpse robbing, right?" "Right you are, Charlie. Well, it was like this, you big dumb, handsome guy they make read books. I had just moved from Stockbridge to LA. I was broke, not acting. A friend of mine died. Oh, a bad death. I hadn't been to a funeral in a long time, and they put me in charge of accessorizing him for the viewing. Only his wrists were so small, his watch wouldn't fit. So I put it in my purse for later. It wasn't until 3 days after the funeral that I realized I still had the watch. I was going to give it back, but it was a Rolex in a rough week. And anyway, give it back to whom? So I rationalized keeping the watch and then selling it and then finding ways to do it again. It's kept me in high five figures for 8 years now. Never caught knock on cherrywood or naughty pine. I even know some other people in the business now. We recognize each other at funerals. Tricks of the trade stuff. Who's using lubricant, pliers, wire cutters. I saw a chick with a magnet once. Oh, she was a fucking trip, man. Some jobs are dicier than others, of course. I got a gold tooth once. Don't ask. Oh, but gosh, says Mr. Rose, is there anything you won't steal? Sure. A wedding ring, a friendship ring, a decoder ring. There are limits. But why do you do it? What do you want? Want? The touch of something that's touched another. Bring on Gore Vidal, pal. Ask him what he wants. At Pittsburgh, I rent a BMW, and an hour out of the airport, past steel mills, past strip mines, past the same farm for 50 miles, I arrive over the river and through the woods to grandmother's funeral. Inside the parlor, the first viewing has begun. My parents, Donald and Dorothy, stand in the first position at the head of the casket, receiving the dukes and barons of the town. In the far corner sits my mother's sister, Aunt Tita. Oh, pleasant, smiling, sweet. An idiot. At the rear near the exit is her only son, Gerald, and my brother, St. David the Perfect. I look out on a jungle of white poinsettias. Ugh, it's gotten out that Nettie loved white poinsettias. It looks like we're burying her on the set of Dr. Zhivago. I squint below a snowy plant, and there I see one lone figure. It's Josephine, Nettie's housekeeper on Norton Place. She was my mother's H.R. Haldeman. You know me, Josephine? She nods. You remember me, Josephine? She does. You're the bipolar, bisexual drug addict. Donald and Dorothy cast an imperceptible glance in my direction. It's actually a glare. Oh, it wouldn't look like a glare to anyone else, but to a James, it's a glare. Oh, kind of like how only dogs can hear certain sounds. Oh, my brother David has suddenly sidled up to me. I can smell the Pepto-Bismol on his breath. After the viewing, Mother and Father want to have a talk with us. Then David slips back to his post near the flowers from something called the First Church of the Charismatic Assumption. I can sense tension in the room. They're all acting, well, they're acting as if someone has died. Nettie James was 103 years old. This funeral has been in rehearsal so long, it's had replacement casts. But somehow the relaxed jocularity one associates with the death of a very old, very demanding, very rich Harridan is entirely absent. I mouth to Josephine, "What's going on?" She smiles. "There's a new will." Minutes later, the family is assembled in a spare viewing parlor where my father, Donald, is interrogating a young local attorney, Danny Spar, about how it could have happened. $5.2 million left to the First Church of the Charismatic Assumption. The Norton Place House and the Lake Cottage left to Charismatic Alternative Families, Inc. My wife's mother left the entire family fortune to a bunch of crazed holy roller devil worshippers. Danny Spar shrugs. I warned you to disconnect your cable TV. The will has been read. The money is gone. This they will have to get used to. Oh, but I have not come for money. I have come for something else. Let me go back. In the black and white photograph I brought with me from LA, a beautifully coiffed woman in her 60s holds the hand of an equally beautifully coiffed 5-year-old girl with red eyes from crying. Only you can't see the red in black and white, but oh, you can see the tears. It's 1963, and I'm not going to the beauty parlor. I'm screaming in the back of the big blue Packard, and my grandmother has decided to calm me down by taking me into the big department store, the Hub. She holds my hand, and when we enter, hundreds of shop clerks rush to greet us, bending, groveling, rubbing their hands. Oh, Mrs. Bordenkircher from the shoe department. Oh, Miss Carver from the dress department. Morton Linkoff from jewelry. They give her presents. Something especially important seems to come from Morton Linkoff. Something wrapped in a box. My grandmother turns to me and says, "You see, if you're nice to people, they'll give you things. Tell you what, you'll be a good girl today when you get your hair done, and Nettie'll give you what's in this box." And she opens it. Inside is a beautiful tear-shaped ring. It seems to sparkle with every jewel in the planet. I have never seen such color, so many facets, such light. Oh, I will do anything to get this ring. So I am a good girl, and I do calm down, and I get my hair done. And when it's all over, and we're back at Norton Place, and Josephine is about to take our picture, I ask my grandmother, "So, where's my present?" And Nettie says, "Oh, that was just something I said. You can't always get what you want." And the ring goes on her finger. The family returns to the parlor where the second viewing has begun. Ooh, there's a crowd around the casket, so I decide to take a stroll through the competing parlors. I wander around, casing the joint, when out of the white forest comes an old woman who seems to live at the funeral home. Oh, she has her own chair. Her name is Margaret Mary Walsh, and she remembers me since I was, I don't know, an embryo, sperm with eyelashes. Oh, we traded name nonsense for a while. I sound like a cake box lobotomy. Oh, finally she remembers the missing piece in my puzzle. "And how is your husband and family?" Imperceptibly, I can feel David flinch, Tito wince, Donald and Dorothy blush. But I'm fine. I tell Margaret Mary Walsh, "I'm not married anymore. My husband never fixed the kitchen door." This seems to satisfy her. The crowd around the coffin has gone on a coffee break, so I make a beeline for the casket. I peer in at my grandmother. A voice nearby murmurs, "She looks good." I nod. She looks like Stalin. Her hands are folded, touching one over the other. She always wore the dinner ring on her right hand, and oof, that's the one I cannot see. It's covered by the other one. Oh, my fingers itch to pick it up, turn it over. Oh, but I keep my cool. Just looking. "How how am I going to find out if she's wearing that ring? Suddenly, Donald is at my side. Mac, we have a problem. Nettie's new will left instructions specifying certain pieces of jewelry she wanted to be buried with. The funeral home won't take responsibility for the pieces overnight. Their policy is to have the family do the physical removal from the body and keep the jewels at home until morning. Now, your mother is in no state to do it, nor Antita, nor am I, nor your brother. Now, he can't touch dead people. David is a surgeon, okay? We'd like you to do it, Mac. Oh, I couldn't. Mac, your mother and I didn't try to stop you from going to Los Angeles when you should have stayed in the hospital in Stockbridge. We didn't even try to stop you when you changed your first name from Jane to McTeague. This is a family service we are requesting, one we expect to be performed. Unless you feel you are incapable, I look at my parents. All right, I say. Sure. I've been stealing jewelry off of corpses for years. Grandma will be a fucking cinch. I go to my grandmother. I remove the jewelry. I try to make it look like it all takes longer than it does. Then I very deftly flip her left hand off her right. There is no tear-shaped dinner ring. Her fingers are bare. I pat her down like a cop at the airport. It's not there. Nothing. In a daze, I give the other pieces to Donald. Then I take my rented BMW, drive to a place called the Green Mill, and get drunk with a feed salesman named Dwayne, who can't get his wedding ring off fast enough. An action that makes me so sad and depressed, I say horrible things about feed salesmen. And I go back to Norton Place very alone. I'm in the pink bedroom in my grandmother's home, in the pink bed that's been mine since I was a child. In the darkness, I dream of Jack in the night. Jack in our house in Stockbridge, holding hands with Paul and Laney at his side. Why can't you love the littlest things, he says. The things you can hold in your hands. What do you want from this world? There are so many things you can't get or hold on to. Things like colors and facets and light. And then in the dream, Jack takes my hand, places 3 rings on my fingers and says, "Is that why you tried to kill yourself?" Yes. I left our bed and I went into the garage and I sat in the car in the cold, cold night and I turned on the ignition. I tried. Didn't work out the way I planned. The next morning, I called the airport for the soonest possible flight back to LA. My bags are in the back of the BMW outside the funeral home. Inside, I'm at my post for the 3rd and final viewing, when out of the field of poinsettias, I see a tiny bald man deep in conversation with Josephine and Margaret Mary Walsh. Oh, they're whispering together. They look in my direction and the bent, hobbled old gnome approaches. It's Morton Linkoff. Morton Linkoff from the Hub. Oh, he's ancient now, like Yoda. And much to my surprise, because what are the chances, he says to me, "Where is that husband and those 2 kids?" My words come out as ever. I am not married now. My husband never fixed the kitchen door. I try to walk away, but Morton Linkoff is persistent. "You know, I remember you coming into the store with your grandmother. Oh, it must have been 30 years ago, the day you got your first hair done. Your grandmother had come in to pick up a ring your grandfather had me design. A dinner ring. Oh, beautiful thing. The one she's wearing right now. I am Morton Linkoff's oxygen. My face so close to his. You mean the tear-shaped ring? Yes, he beams. Oh, beautiful work from a talented wholesale genius I had in Hackensack. Only came to town twice, 3 times a year. Your grandmother had it sent in to be cleaned before she died. I just gave it back to Mr. Funeral. Your grandmother, she wanted she should be buried with it. And who are we to argue with the dead? It's there. It's there! Why shouldn't I take it? It was by rights mine. And I want. Oh, the service is about to begin. The family is to pay its final tributes, one by one. As they do, I go to the powder room so that when I return, I will be the last. This is an affront to protocol, of course, but it's the best method. It's worked for me a billion times. It'll work for me again. Out of the bathroom, I sustain the glares, but I am resolute. No one dare stop the emotional granddaughter from her final embrace. I approach the subject. My grandmother, my mother's mother, the source of my being, cold and dusted, pink and blue. I look down. The ring is there. The eagle has landed. I grip the side of the casket. I lean my face to hers. I kiss her cheek, and I place my hand upon her hand. Her ring is harder to remove than I had hoped, as if the fingers swelled. I pull. Nothing. I twist. Nothing. I do not want to break her finger. It is an occupational hazard, and I don't want my grandmother to be my first snapper. And then I look down, because Nettie's eyes, my grandmother's eyes, are wide open and watching me. Grandma? Hello, Jane. Going to steal my ring? Oh, maybe. Oh, sweet Janie. Why have you been lying to my old friends about that family of yours? Her hand has mine, gripped in a lock so tight my fingers will break. You've been lying, Jane. I won't let go till you tell Grandma where that husband of yours is and my 2 great-grandchildren. I'm pulling away from her now, but her hand has my wrist, now my elbow, now pulling me deep toward her face. Tell me the truth, Janie. Why have you been lying? Where is that husband of yours and my great-grandchildren? I'm running a cold sweat. I look for my family. My family! And there's no one in the room. Where is your family? Where is your family? Where is your family? I shout out, my husband never fixed the kitchen door! And after I fell asleep in the garage, when I finally woke up at the hospital, I asked them, where's my husband? Where's my daughter? Where's my son? They explained to me that because the kitchen was attached to the garage, and because the kitchen door had never been fixed, the lock had opened, and the door had opened, and the air from the garage had drifted into the house and into the bedrooms. And my family, my husband, my children, my littlest things. It had killed my family while I slept. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. And the ring comes off. someone touches my shoulder, it's time to close the casket. At the gravesite, they placed the coffin deep in the ground next to my grandfather's old headstone. The earth begins to hit the top of the casing with the sound that is unmistakably it. I'm listening to the minister talk about the gift of the homemaker, the ring clasped tight in my hand. I did not die the day I tried to kill myself. They buried my family before I had a chance to touch them. Hold their hands one more time. Jack's wedding ring, Lainey's friendship ring, Paul's decoder ring, all deep in the ground before I woke up. But I am alive. And my grandmother's ring is cold to my touch. It's not what I want or need. At long last, the minister is finished. My mother steps forward and throws in a clump of dirt. Then Aunt Tita, then Donald and David and Gerald. Finally, there's me. I go to the hole cut out of the planet and I gather the dirt. I let it fall. A clump of a clod of earth, a sprinkle of grain and rock, the rain of dust, and the silver note as the ring hits the top of the casing and disappears deep into the soil forever. In Stockbridge, Massachusetts, where I lived for years, there's a place where my other family is buried. I have not yet visited them, but I know the way there. In the darkness, I pray for the touch of a hand that has known my touch too. The call of the dead is not strange in the night. No one can steal anything from my family ever again. Tears freeze in the cold. When they hit the stone, they break into a shattering of colors and facets and light. I gather them close to me, and I'm warm, like a thief in the night.
Finally! Arctic Circle, day 4. First polar bear sighting.
What's that smell? Maybe we should look for a different one.
No, this one's perfect. Look, emaciated, grungy, super compelling.
I don't know.
Well, listen, we could always Photoshop it. Hey, get one of me looking at it like this.
Looks great. This could be the cover shot. All right, let's go.
Are you kidding me? We gotta talk to it. Get out your video camera and start recording.
What are you doing? Don't get so close.
It's time to poke the bear.
No, wait!
What do people think you're doing?
You're Good afternoon. Sorry to wake you.
Can't you people weed? That'll be $50. Video is extra.
Okay, we'll stop. It's just that we're very excited to see you. We're journalists from...
I don't care who you are. You took my photo and that will cost you.
I'm sorry, journalists are not permitted to pay for photographs. We have certain ethical standards.
Did you ask my permission to take my photo? No! So your ethical standards can kiss my furry white butt.
Oh, come on, let's go.
Hey, will you relax? I got this. Bear, we were wondering with all the changes going on up here, how are you surviving?
Surviving? Yeah, sure, I'm surviving all right.
Hey, listen, we'd love to interview you.
Not interested.
Oh, would you just hear me out?
I don't need to. I know what you want. You're looking for a sob story, right? Oh, boo-hoo, poor polar bear. Look at how sad it is. It's losing its home. But look at me. Look at how great I am because I care. And then you pack up and run off to win your Pulitzers and shit.
A bear that knows the Pulitzer.
Of course I know what the Pulitzer is. One photo of my bony ass will have you win 20 of them. I got journalists up here all the time, hanging out a helicopter, snapping photos of me while I'm sleeping, while I'm taking a dump. I don't got any goddamn privacy, and I don't see a dime for it. Not anymore.
Listen, I think we got off on the wrong foot here. You see, we're not here to bother you. We're here to help. We're here to help you. Could you imagine the front page of the paper? The story behind the starving polar bear. Man, you're gonna end up with 1 million fans from all over the world.
1 million fans.
We've done it. We've done it before, right?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen that video of the sea turtle? You know, the one with the straw stuck up its nose?
Yeah, I saw that. Poor bastard. It looked painful.
That was us. I shot that.
And I interviewed it. And now it has 500,000 followers from all over the world. People who care about it. People who want to help it. You know, we could do the same thing for you. What do you say?
All right, I'll do it.
Fantastic.
If you give me 10K.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Bear is, I haven't interviewed very many polar bears. Is it all right if I call you Bear, or would you prefer to be called something else?
I don't care what you call me, just as long as you give me my money.
Well, Bear, we'd like to get your perspective so we could tell the world how...
I don't care. You gotta give me my money. I know what, I'll tell you. I'll do it for 1,000.
I told you, we don't have that kind of money, and even if we
Oh, you know what? You people come all the way up here with your fancy cameras and designer snow boots, and you can't afford a lousy grand.
Look, we just came here to help you.
Oh, you want a good photo? Here, I'll roll over and play dead. Or I can sit up and beg. Oh, I know, here. Use this, pretend to shoot me in the ass with this. Here, go ahead, try it.
No thanks.
But read my lips. No more freebies. Show me the money.
Look, no one's making money off of you.
That's the biggest lie I ever heard. My mug has been on TV more times than any other bear.
What about Yogi?
Fuck Yogi. You think Yogi Bear knows what I'm going through?
Hey, listen, we're offering you a golden opportunity right now. Why don't you just open your eyes?
I'm just trying to make a living. An honest living. I got needs. Hey! Hey! What do you think, I'm stupid? I see that red light. You gotta pay me for that. You gotta give me that money. You gotta help me. Damn it. I really need that money. I'm not fooling around here. I just need a little. enough to buy a seal or maybe a small fish. Here. You got any more?
Yeah. Here.
What about the interview?
All right, I'll do it.
Fantastic. Now listen, make sure you get a good close-up of its face. So, tell us, Bear.
You people think I'm lazy, right? You think if I just swam more, I could have all the food I need. You know, when I was a cub, you could go out every day and find a seal. My mom used to take me. And then we'd go find a nice piece of ice somewhere where we could just lay down and rest. But now, this isn't even real. Some guy brought it up here for a photo op. My ice is gone. The seals are gone. My mom used to say, sink or swim, baby. Sink or swim. And right now, I'm sinking.
No, you're not. You're doing great. You're going to show people that it's time for them to get up here and start making some changes.
In the meantime, what? Like just sit back and starve to death?
Well, I could get you to a zoo.
Zoo?
Hey, there'd be plenty of food.
Zoo? Why would I want to go to a zoo?
There'll be plenty of penguins.
I don't eat penguins. And besides, they're at the South Pole.
Oh, right.
Listen, it would just be until things get better.
Better yet. Oh, I could sit around in my shit all day waiting for an ice cube.
Oh, come on, wait a minute.
Oh, I know. I could watch runny-nosed kids pressing their ugly little faces up against the glass, leaving boogers behind for me to try to lick off.
Zoos are not like that.
And sooner or later, somebody cute is gonna show up like a big fat panda. And if it's a choice between me and a panda, who are you gonna choose? Who are you gonna see? I can't compete with those cute little black and white faces.
Yeah, but it's not a competition.
Of course it is. There's not enough money in this world to save us all. That's all you humans care about, are the cute ones. The cute ones.
You're cute.
I'm not cute. I'm majestic. But majestic isn't as good as cute. Well, at least I'm not ugly. Nobody likes ugly. Ugly animals are fucked.
Hey, listen, cute or ugly, we're trying to save all of you.
Oh, stop!
Will you just hear me out?
Just stop! I don't trust you. No, I don't trust you. No, 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 no. Because even when you humans try, you use me over and over again. And I'm not having it. Not anymore. Because even if you humans try, it's because you end up screwing me over. And then you turn around and you do it again to someone else. And then you go crawling to them, begging, saying that you're so sorry, apologizing. And then you turn around and do it again, over and over and over again. It never stops. It never stops. So no, I don't want your help. I don't want your followers, and I don't want your stupid zoos. I just want you to give me my money and leave me the hell alone.
Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Great.
I thought you wanted something a little more.
No, are you kidding? This is perfect. Look, raw, angry.
And I'm not saying another word. I'm not saying another word until you give me my money.
Well, that's okay with us, Bear, because we got what we needed. I mean, it was really a pleasure to meet you. Let me give you a piece of advice. You know, you'd be much better off if you would just turn it down a notch. You know, my editors are going to love your attitude. It's very entertaining. But it's not going to win you friends in high places. I think you'd be better off if you tried to be just a little bit more friendlier. You know, a little bit more relatable.
Yeah, like the sea turtle. You know, people love that guy.
Exactly like the sea turtle.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, you know, it might not be fair, but this is the game we're playing.
I didn't ask to play.
Let's go.
Here,
Come on, let's go.
please, just take it. Thanks again. Are you sure we should just leave it?
Hey, don't worry. We'll be back. And this is going to be even bigger than the sea turtle. Come on.
Read it back, please.
Great leader and spiritual advisor, Osamequin. How are you?
Continue.
That's all.
That's it? It feels like we've been here forever. Really, that's it.
It took you a while to come up with the how are you part.
Well, what else am I supposed to say? Thanks for letting us live through the summer.
You don't mean that.
I think this whole idea is ridiculous. It's just another one of Bradford's gimmicks to draw attention to himself.
The celebration?
Yes, the celebration or feast or day of thanks, whatever it is he's calling it these days.
Reverend Brewster's calling it Thanksgiving.
That blowhard could make a trek to the outbuilding call us for celebration if he could add a prayer in the beginning, a prayer at the end, and throw a sermon in somewhere in between.
That's not fair. You know it.
I bet you it was Brewster that planted this crazy idea in Bradford's head.
Does it matter whose idea it was? I, for one, think it's a splendid suggestion.
He's asking all of us to gather in one place at one time and break bread with 3,000 Indians. There isn't even 70 of us. And he's asking them to bring the bulk of the bread, if you know what I mean. Who knows if they even know what bread is?
Miles Standish, you act as if they're savages.
I didn't travel 2 months and 6,000 miles, suffered through a long cold winter, starved most of this summer to attend some dinner party in the middle of nowhere, only to end up with a hatchet in the back of my skull while I'm shelling walnuts, which I'm sick of, by the way.
3.
3 what?
It was only 3,000 miles.
Oh, well, it felt like 6.
What about Squanto? Do you consider him savage?
That hothead? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
If his people meant us any harm at all, why would they send their best, most respected member of their tribe to help us plant and farm?
Did you ever work side by side with the guy? He's a lunatic.
If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the harvest we're intending to celebrate.
Oh, poke a hole in the ground, drop a seed in the hole, kick some dirt over the hole, and then, have one of your female minions dribble water from a hollowed out squash over it. Oh, that's real cutting edge agrarian technology, if you ask me.
I think you're jealous.
Of what?
Of his prowess.
If you're talking about what he has dangling out from underneath that deer skin of his, trust me, nothing there to be jealous about.
Miles Standish.
I just don't like the guy.
Well, none of the men here could figure it out.
What's that?
What?
There on your face. You're smirking.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
Gracious.
You like him.
As if.
Oh, you find him appealing, don't you?
He has certain rugged qualities I find appealing. Yes.
He has long hair and he wears beads and feathers in it.
It is not only looks that make a man appealing to a woman.
Oh, right. His prowess. Yeah.
Miles Standish, I will not even dignify that comment with a response.
Dress them up any way you like. They are what they are.
Well, maybe they feel the same way about us.
What did you say?
Maybe they don't trust us.
That's ridiculous. What have we ever done that would make them think that?
Besides laying false claim to their land?
Who said it was their land? I didn't see a flag flying. I didn't see a piece of paper with their names written on it.
They were here first. At the least, we are uninvited guests.
What would you have us do? Send an announcement heralding our coming? Dear natives of whatever land we are journeying to, I'll be arriving on your rock sometime in the upcoming winter. If we live through the voyage, have a bed warmer with coal heated for our arrival.
I just think we should be aware of how good the Wampanoags have been to us.
If you want to call, not killing us en masse in our
See,
sleeping
there you go again!
Fine! Let's get back to the letter, shall we?
Let's.
Where were we again? Read back what we have.
Great leader and spiritual advisor, Osamequin. How are you?
You think it's too much?
Which part?
The great blah, blah, blah bit.
Maybe a little.
What's that name he goes by?
Massasoit.
That's it. What's that name again?
Great leader.
There you go. We'll use that. sign of cultural understanding and recognition. Oh, yeah. Oh. Read it back, please.
You're kidding.
No, come on. I wanna hear how it sounds.
Dear Massasoit.
No, all of it.
Dear Massasoit, how are you?
Good. Respectful. Oh, concerned. I like it. Okay. In recognition of the no. Our first successful harvest in our this new land, we are planning a feast to recognize the achievement of our joint collaboration and friendship. That's good, right?
Pretty good.
All right. I'm not exactly sure how I want to word this next word.
What do you want to say?
What do I want to say? What do I want to say? What I want to say is, please bring as much food as possible because we don't have enough and we are all freaking hungry.
Okay. What if we alluded to their hunting skills? Prove what great providers they are.
That's good. That's good. Come up with something along those lines and read it back to me.
What?
Elizabeth, I can't do this. It's not right.
You don't have a choice. This is a direct request. No, order from Governor Bradford.
Don't you see? He's just trying to paint a positive picture of this whole disastrous year. He needs to make this cockeyed venture look successful for his drinking buddies and sponsors back home. He's up to no good. And sure of it, this hoopla is just the beginning. And what about next year? When he's invited all of his cronies over from the old world. He'll want to have a bigger celebration, and then he'll want to have a bigger one the year after that, Thanksgiving 2, and then there'll be Thanksgiving 3. When do you think this will stop? No, I want no part of this. Who is it? Keep writing. Writing what? Anything. Fake it. Just look busy.
Is there a problem in there standing?
Come in, Governor. We were just finishing up the letter to Osameka.
Who?
Massasoit.
Ah, yes. Day of thanks invitation. Well, stop writing, Elizabeth.
Governor?
It's no longer necessary.
Is there something wrong, Governor?
The bastards beat us to it. Excuse my language, my dear.
Who beat us to what, Governor?
The Berkeley 100 is who, and Thanksgiving is the what?
Who is the Berkeley 100?
The Berkeley Plantation. A group of 30 or so English brethren that have settled on the north bank of the James River near some place called Charles City.
That's in the Virginia colony. I thought Jamestown was the only settlement down there.
So much for news traveling fast. Here, read it.
For immediate release, December 4th, 1619. Richard Berkeley, founder and landowner of 8,000 acres of prime Virginia colony land to be known as the Berkeley Plantation, is proud to announce the celebration of their arrival in the New World, recognizing the day as the first annual Thanksgiving Day. We ordain that the day of our ship's arrival at the place assigned for our settlement in the land of Virginia shall be recognized yearly and perpetually kept holy as the day of Thanksgiving to Almighty God.
We can't top that. They've covered it all. Good angle, cause, wording, God.
What are you going to do about it, Governor?
There's nothing we can do. It's over.
Alrighty, well that just about wraps it up then. Okay, anybody want to get a mug of cider? Tommy?
Maybe we should have a celebration of our own.
Didn't you hear the governor? It's all over.
Didn't you hear, Elizabeth? They've established a holy day called Thanksgiving.
Yes, celebrating their arrival.
So,
We are celebrating a harvest with natives.
go on.
We make it a week-long event.
I'm liking what I hear.
Add some games, some singing and dancing between meals.
A week with the Wampanoag. Where will we put them? We barely have enough shelter for our own.
Encourage them to build their own shelters, their own village.
Are you forgetting it's a 2-day walk?
All the more reason for them to stay the week and enjoy the comforts of home. And then, at the end of the celebration, when they leave their shelter,
We move in. I like the way you think, young lady. And the longer they know they'll be here, the more food they'll bring.
We still won't be remembered as the first.
Who knows what the coming months may bring?
Maybe Berkeley's group will be massacred by Indians.
Word through the grapevine is they sleep with one eye open down there. Let's do it. Standish, I want that letter on my desk tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, Governor.
Carry on, you two.
A week-long event indeed.
massacred by Indians?
It could happen. Anyway, I had to say something.
The letter?
Be my guest. You're the one with all the bright ideas.
Where are you going?
Home.
To do what?
Cook.
Cook?
I'm working on a special recipe.
For what?
It's a new side dish for meals.
What is it?
I don't have a name for it yet.
What's in it?
Nothing too special. Cranberries, water, sugar, and some spices. It's not so much what's in it, but how I make it into this thick sauce.
How do you do that?
That's a secret I shall take to my grave, which, as it turns out, may be a whole lot sooner than expected. Good day, my dear Elizabeth. Remember, on his desk in the morning, if morning comes.
Sauce. Cranberry sauce. It'll never catch on. Okay. Dear Massasoit, how are you? said my handsome young guard. Yes, I know that it's hard. Still, no matter how nice, I never do anything twice.
I think about the Baron who came at my command, then proffered me a riding crop and chains. The net we shared was particularly planned. He took the most extraordinary pains. He trembled with excitement, his cheeks were all aglow, and afterward he cried to me, "Encore!" He pleaded with me so to have another go. I murmured caressingly, whatever for.
Once, yes, once is a lark. Twice, though, loses its spark. Once, yes, once is delicious. Twice would be vicious, just repetitious.
Someone's bound to be scarred. Yes, I know that it's hard. Still, no matter the price, I never do anything twice.
And then there was the rabbit who worshipped at my feet, who dressed me in a wimple and in veils. He made a proposition which I found rather sweet, and handed me a hammer and some nails. In time we lay contented as he began again by fingering the beads around our waist. I whispered to him then, "We'll have to say amen, for I have developed more Catholic taste." Once, yes, once for a lark. Twice, though, loses its spark. As I said to the abbot, I'll get in the habit, but not in the habit. You've my highest regard, and I know that it's hard. Still, no matter the vice, I never do anything twice. Once, yes, once would be nice. Love requires some spice. If you've something in view, something to do, totally new, I'll be there in a trice. But I never do anything twice, except, no, I never do anything twice.
Unbelievable.
I'm the man, 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 I'm the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Frank.
So, guys think we're gonna make 50 today?
It sure looks like
If
it.
the store is down, 50 to go.
Yeah, very momentous.
What a view to have lunch by, huh?
Ah, beautiful.
Jersey, huh? My home. So, Frank, what's the bill of fare today? What do you got?
I think it's liverwurst.
Yeah, Joey, how about you?
Pickle and pimento loaf.
Now wait a minute, this ain't liverwurst, it's tuna, I think.
Well, I got corned beef and pastrami.
Hey Charlie, is this liverwurst or tuna?
You got corned beef and pastrami?
Nah, with poupon mustard.
On a normal Tuesday? What's the occasion?
Who says there's an occasion?
Joe, he's got
corned beef and pastrami.
With pecan mustard.
I'm ecstatic.
Coupon mustard.
I'm ecstatic.
Look at all those poor souls down there, huh? Having to eat their lunch by sea level. I'm the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
Hey, Joe, what's in the news today? Any international developments? What's the word in Ukraine?
In the news today, there's a woman in Astoria, Queens, who's been living with the same man for 16 years and didn't know he had 5 other wives.
Hey, many impossible things are possible in this world today, huh?
A guy with 6 wives. They still call that bigamy? No, I think they call that geometry.
That's funny. Hey, give me the TV section. I want to see what's in the news.
Hey, I don't want to hear nothing about TV. We got bowling tonight.
Yeah, I just want to see what I'm missing.
Yeah, who's in for bowling tonight?
I'm in.
Joe, you in?
No, I can't, Charlie. I got something I got to do at home.
Well, what do you got to do? You got to put doilies in your wife's powder room or something?
I got something I got to do at home.
Well, do them tomorrow.
I can't do them tomorrow. Bridget wants me done tonight.
Hey, who's the king of your house, huh? Who makes the rules?
Gentlemen. Oh, when Maggie wanted the new floor put in, you couldn't bowl for a whole week.
Yeah, well, that was different.
And because you couldn't bowl, we couldn't bowl neither.
Hey, don't get small on me, okay?
What's the difference?
I hate it when you get small like that.
Gentlemen, please. Peace. And they weren't doing
Joe, peace. Hey, so Frankie, huh? How's your wife doing, all right?
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, doctor fixed her up at all?
Yeah, it looks that way. She was cutting the grass yesterday.
Well, that's a sign.
Yeah, that's a sign. How's that lawnmower you bought working?
Nah, it's busted.
Already?
Yeah, it's busted.
Well, take it back.
You know, I don't even know why I cut my grass to begin with. I like it long. I like to sit on my porch and look at it being long. Where do you think the word lawn came from to begin with? From long. Because grass was always long. You know, originally, some people planted seed and said, hey, I'm going to grow a lawn. And then some moron came along and cut his lawn short. And that's the history of fashion.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Did you say something, Joe?
No, I said nothing.
Guys, ever think about hang gliding home from here?
Hang gliding home.
Yeah. Instead of taking the path or driving.
Wouldn't you have to learn how to hang glide first?
Oh, yeah, sure, you'd have to learn. But then after you wrap up work, you strap on your wings, you step off the top floor, and you sail all the way home. Hey, you could be the first guy in history just to fly all the way from 18th Street and 12th Avenue to Tenafly, New Jersey. With a fabulous view along the way. Maybe after I retire.
You know, I'm sitting here eating this thing, and I still don't know if it's liverwurst or tuna.
Oh, that's all the ozone up here. Yeah, the carbon dioxide at this altitude. It compresses the things in your nose and you can't taste nothing. You say something, Joe?
No. Maybe it was the carbon dioxide compressing against my nose or something.
Hey, speaking of flying, I got that movie about the Lindbergh kid on tonight.
They got the what?
The Lindbergh baby, the one that got kidnapped, they got the movie on.
Oh, let me see that. Let me just want to look.
You see that movie that time it was on?
Oh, yeah, I saw that movie.
Anthony Hopkins is,
Bruno Hauptmann.
yeah, it took place in,
Hopewell, New Jersey.
What do they want to bring that turkey back to work?
Turkey?
Yeah, who wants to see that turkey all over again?
That's a very thoughtful movie for your information. And it just so happens that today is the date of the anniversary that Charles Lindbergh's baby was kidnapped.
It happened 50 years ago. What's the big deal?
Jesus Christ died on Easter. They showed the King of Kings on that weekend.
Gentlemen.
And if you ever did anything more important than glue your wife's cat pictures into a photo album, they'd be showing the Joe Morelli story on your
Gentlemen, please.
And I don't want to hear the word turkey.
What the hell is the matter with you today?
Nothing's the matter.
You're acting all weird.
I'm not weird.
Yeah, right. Here, Birdie. Here, Birdie. Here, Birdie. What
the hell is that?
What does it look like? It's a chocolate cupcake.
You see this, Joe?
Oh, wasn't that nice? Maggie baked him a cupcake.
No, my wife did not bake this cupcake. I bought this cupcake.
It's got a candle on it.
Yes, it has a candle in it.
So what's the celebration?
Who says there's a celebration?
You're eating corned beef and pastrami, a cupcake.
Well, if you will notice, it's a very somber color. Maybe I'm observing a very solemn day for some very private reason.
The next thing you know, he'll be putting doilies around the house.
You know, that's it, Morello.
And as for that Lindbergh movie, a pedigree turkey.
I told you I don't want to hear the word turkey.
And if you ask me, Charles Lindbergh, overrated.
Overrated?
Overrated.
Wait. The greatest hero in American history.
Yeah, so we went across the ocean. Big deal.
Big deal?
Big deal. And as for the Lindbergh baby, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Well, for your information, my friend.
Well, there are people that get kidnapped every day in this world, and they don't make no movies about them.
Yeah, well, maybe they're not as important as Charles Lindbergh Jr.
Oh, and I don't care about the Lindbergh baby.
You don't care about the
I
Lindbergh
don't
baby.
care about the Lindbergh baby.
You have no feelings whatsoever for the Lindbergh baby.
I have no feelings whatsoever about the Lindbergh baby.
Well, for your information, I am the Lindbergh baby. Yes, I'm the Lindbergh baby. I am the rightful son of Charles Lindbergh, kidnapped from the home of his parents on this very day. Now, I didn't want to tell you, but you forced me into it. And the hell, I will listen to my family being insulted, so there.
You think you're the Lindbergh baby?
Yes.
But your name is Petrosian.
Oh, that's what I was brought up to think my name was.
Wait, you think you're the Lindbergh baby?
Just go to hell, Morelli.
Do you know how many, I don't believe this, I mean, do you know how many separate asylums there are for people who think they're the Lindbergh baby?
Well, those people are all imposters, aren't they?
I think you're off your head.
You know, why don't you just mind your own business? Stick to your pickle and pimento loaf, Mr. Small-Time.
Charlie, there are people who might, wonder if you claim to be the Lindbergh baby.
But it all adds up, don't it? Charles Jr., Charlie. Was I not born in New Jersey around that significant date? And was I not brought up in Hopewell, New Jersey, where the crime was perpetrated?
He did grow up at Hopewell, Joe.
So do 20 million other babies.
I thought the police found the kid's body.
Oh, no, that was some other kid's body.
Whose body?
I don't know whose body, I just certainly know it wasn't my body. Yeah, they never found me. You see, I'm still at large.
I'll say you are.
What made you, why did you keep this a secret so long?
Because they would think he's a fruitcake, that's why.
Well, naturally, some people wouldn't believe me. Plus, I was already pretty well established as Charles Petrosian, credit cards, driver's license, bank account.
It is hard to make a change.
But mostly, I didn't want to upset the feelings of my true mother, Anne Morrow Lindbergh.
Whose books are total bullshit.
You shut your trap about my mother.
Oh, come on, she made a fortune after the kidnapping with you. You should ask for a cut of the royalties. This way you can retire early and go hang glide.
I don't want to hear a word from you.
Joe's got a point. You really ought to contact the Lindberghers.
Well, I did write the mother once.
You did?
Yeah, I just figured the letter never got to her.
Did you tell them, who you were?
Oh, yeah, I hinted who I was. Yeah.
Sure. Dear Mom, I want my inheritance. Your loving son, Charles Petrosian.
Knock it off!
Real son.
I guess this means that Anthony Hopkins didn't kidnap him?
Oh, no, not unless he was in the league with the Petrosian family.
And what was the Petrosians' role in all of this?
Oh, my foster parents, as I like to think of them. Pawns in a bigger game, Frankie. Pawns in a bigger game.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you should be mentioning all of this.
But that I've been the Lindbergh baby all along and you never knew it?
Yeah, because you see, I am the son of Tsar Nicholas II of Russia.
No! You're kidding!
It's true.
The kid who got killed in the revolution?
That's me, heir to the throne of Moscow.
Holy shit!
And sovereign of the Ukraine.
You know, I saw that movie, Nicholas and...
Alexandria, that was my mother.
I thought you got shot.
I was smuggled out by a faithful servant. Nobody knows I survived but me.
And you had Sir Laurence Olivier in your movie.
I was honored to have Larry in my movie. I did quibble with some of the historical details.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. That's just incredible. What do you think? You think that you think it's important that we talk about this, about them? I mean, Joey here, he's been interrupting me, and I don't want to hear another word from him.
So you think you're the Tsar of Russia?
Hey, you know, just never you mind, Frank.
The Tsar of Russia? You know how old you'd have to be the Tsar of Russia?
Never you mind, Frank.
You have to be like 95 and a hemophiliac.
I always was a heavy bleeder.
That don't make you no goddamn Tsar of Russia.
Will you just shut up, Joe, please? We're on very sensitive ground here. Frankie lost everybody in the revolution. We're talking about family. We're talking about orphans.
Okay, Alexei, tell me, how are you the head honcho of the Ukraine?
Well, when I saw that movie with the Kremlin and those domes.
Oh, the onion-shaped domes?
Those bunion-shaped domes. I said to myself, I've been there before. It was like I could remember it.
Of course you could remember. Those commie bastards tried to rub you out. Oh, was the movie a painful experience?
Only the part where I had to watch myself get killed.
Understandably, Alexei. Hey, have you told Phyllis?
Not yet.
Boy, is she going to be surprised to find out that she's the Queen of Russia.
The Tsarina.
Huh?
The wife of the Tsar is called the Tsarina.
Is that the proof, Joe? I mean, he's got the facts at the tips of his fingers, huh?
I know how a car works. That don't make me an Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
You know, just think. If we had you over there all along running things, the Berlin Wall would have come down a lot sooner. After not being erected in the first place.
You know, it's tough thinking about what I could have done for world peace.
Well, things had been different. I can't think of anyone I'd rather have on the Russian throne than Frank McCool.
Thank you, Charlie.
Oh, wow. What be goddamned? I mean, all this while, we didn't know it. You didn't know about me, I didn't know about you, and Joey here, he didn't know about either of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Joe,
Yeah, what?
Who are you?
Yeah, I'm nobody.
No, you're not.
I'm nobody. I'm Joe Morelli.
Nah, I'm not
Period.
talking about that.
I'm super bad.
Underneath it all.
Underneath it all, I'm just a guy on the street. That's all, okay?
Okay.
However, in another previous lifetime, I was Marie Antoinette.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
The let me cake lady.
Yeah, I said that in 1793. Let me cake.
Listen, that's something.
I always knew you were somebody.
You know, Frank here, he gets shot by the Reds, you get your head chopped off in Paris.
Yeah, I know. 1 minute I'm at the guillotine in a diamond tiara. Next minute I'm Joe Morelli in T-neck.
Well, that must have been disconcerting.
To say the least.
Oh, there's the whistle.
Ready?
Yeah, that's what the company says. On to the 51st floor.
Hey guys, I don't want this getting around, so let's not say anything to anybody, okay?
We will be like a tomb.
You swear?
Of course we swear.
Hey, we're all in the same,
Situation. Well, first things first. Who's bowling tonight?
I'm in.
Joey, you in? I'm in.
I can. I got something I gotta do.
Are you forgetting who you are, Your Majesty?
Remember the crown jewels.
You're right, let's bowl. And say it again. Say it again. As long as I'm home by midnight.
Oh, what are you, Cinderella now?
I'm the man.
He's the man.
I'm the man.
He's the man.
I'm the man who broke the bank at Monte Carlo.
Ed always said I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Well, he didn't always say it. I think he said it once. Oh, he was never a talker. Even before we were married, he would clam up at dinners,
parties. He knew that I hated him being so quiet. I'd say, Ed, at least look like you're trying to talk to me. So he tried. Whenever he had nothing to say, he would turn to me and start to mutter, "Mary had a little lamb." And I would come back with, "Oh, its fleece was white as snow." And everywhere that Mary went. You get the picture. Oh, people thought we had quite a rapport. Well, Ed quit smoking 4 months before he died. When he had his first heart attack, he'd already been on the patch since September. Yeah, even while he was in the hospital. He used to joke he was down to 2.5 patches a day. I told him the biggest change was in our sex life. Well, it's just not romantic to turn to the person next to you when it's all over and offer her a small package to stick on her rib cage. Yeah, he still had one on him pumping away the night he died. That was in Pittsburgh. Oh, we had Ed moved to Allegheny General after the second heart attack when all the funny business started. Oh, St. Joseph's here in town isn't equipped for that sort of thing, by which I mean decent hospital care when your life depends on it. We moved Ed on Thanksgiving morning during the Macy's parade. Oh, Debbie made all the arrangements. By the time we got him there, his watch and one of his rings was missing. They even got his gold medic alert necklace. No, I know, we should have taken it off of him. Debbie said she'd thought about it, but it felt creepy wrestling her father's jewelry off of him before they carted him away. Something about it being too Dickensian for words. Yeah, I never know what she's talking about. So, Ed quit smoking on Labor Day. He had his first heart attack on Halloween, his second one on Thanksgiving, and he died just before Christmas. Well, he always loved holidays. When we got him back to the funeral parlor, the assistant undertaker asked us if there was anything he could do to make Ed look more natural. Give him a goddamn cigarette. He's dead wearing bifocals and a hairpiece. I mean, what's going to add to the illusion of reality here? Oh, Debbie picked out his suit and tie and his pocket handkerchief and, oh, his cufflinks that looked like little bulldozers and his hairpiece. Oh, Ed had a lot of them in the bathroom. All of his hair was lined up in these little white heads. You could watch Ed age on those heads. Oh, after the funeral, Debbie said she snuck a pack of Camels into her father's suit pocket, sort of as a symbol, she said, like the Egyptians or the Vikings carrying a talisman into the great beyond. Yeah, I never know what she's talking about. Well, Debbie is back home in Wisconsin now, yeah, with her second husband, the assistant provost, and her twins, and her unfinished novel, which is about a woman living in Wisconsin with her second husband, the assistant provost, and her twins. I thought about calling Debbie after the funeral when all of the things started to happen, but she's listening to Prozac now, and I didn't want to disturb that. You know, I can't remember where or when I met Ed. Tootie Vaughn would remember. Oh, Tootie is my best girlfriend, and she remembers things like this, but I don't. Well, all I remember is living with Mother and Daddy, and there was Ed. He had left his father's grocery store, and he was going to build roads and bridges and tunnels, and he had no money and no prospects. And oh, Mother and Daddy did not approve. Oh, I snuck out of the house to see Ed once. Mother and Daddy thought that I had gone to the movies with Tootie to see My Friend Irma Goes West, but I went to Stone Road with Ed instead. Oh, when I got home, Tootie was in my living room looking very guilty. Daddy quizzed me about where I'd been. You know, I always know when I've done something wrong because I start to sweat on my, well, you know, it's not very polite to say it, but I start to sweat on my, my collarbone. I flush, I get red. Oh, nobody can see it, but oh, I can feel it. So of course I lied. I said I did so go to the movies. Daddy said, prove it. So I made up the entire plot to My Friend Irma Goes West. And the next day I went to see My Friend Irma Goes West. I was surprised at how close I'd gotten. I wasn't there when Ed died. Oh, Debbie wasn't either. Nobody was. 3 a.m. the week before Christmas. The nurses said that Ed didn't make a sound when the aneurysm hit. Why didn't Ed cry out? I said. Isn't that painful? Oh, yes, they said. But what with the dementia that set in after your husband's second cardiovascular infarction, his responses had become neurologically inappropriate. After the funeral, Margaret Mary Walsh told me that Ed was lucky to go that way. I guess. He recognized Debbie once, near the end. Of course, he thought I was his mother, and he thought he was in Las Vegas. Oh, and once he even saw a cow standing behind me in the room. Oh, yes, I said to Margaret Mary, I want to die someday in Vegas with my mother and a cow, too. Oh, the funeral was lots of people. Bob O'Clock from the bank, Dino DiSperbio from Smith Trucking, Frank, Ed's brother. Oh, funerals make me tired. Even other people's funerals. I don't know how undertakers do it. Oh, they prefer to be called morticians. But to me, that sounds like death with air freshener. No, undertaker is right. They undertake what we can't bear. Where did I meet Ed? God, when did I meet my husband? Well, it was 3 days before I could get down to the office. The way the will is written, I'm president of Ed Carpellotti, Inc., president. Over the phone, Debbie asked me if my first act would be to officially recognize Cuba. I laughed, like I knew what the hell she was talking about. Well, Joy, Ed's secretary, showed me what the attorney said that I needed to see. Well, on paper, it looked like the construction business had been slow. Well, it had been bad the last year or two. But the papers showed that we had assets. We'd be fine. I said that to Joy. Oh, we'll be fine. And Joy just looked at me. Well, the next day I go to see our attorney. I depend on Danny Spar, but it's hard to invest a lot of authority in the little boy who used to deliver your milk. Well, I go to his office at the bank building, Bob O'Clock's bank, where Ed did business. When I walk in, Bob is waving to me from behind a glass door in the lobby, and he makes a motion with his hand that either means, call me, or he wants me to stir his coffee with my finger and stick it in his ear. I wave. Well, Daniel and I talked for a while about the funeral, about Ed, about what a wheeler dealer he was. And then Danny takes out a file marked bank. Virginia, did Ed ever get you to sign anything this past year? Any papers, documents, agreements? As he's talking, the heat is rising on my collarbone. I was always signing something. I mean, Ed was such a one-man band, always wheeling and dealing, and Danny's still looking at me. See, Ed always said I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I told Tootie Vaughn about the papers when I went to visit her and her new husband in Boca Raton last April. Could she have told? Virginia,
Did you sign anything that looked official? He delivered my milk. I can't lie to the little blue-eyed boy who delivered my milk. I nod, and Danny hands me some papers from the file. It's a bank loan from Bob O'Clock's bank to Ed Carpelati, Inc. A bank loan secured by equipment, machinery, high boys, low boys, tractors, bulldozers, like every asset of the company. A bank loan signed personally, which means, since Ed got me to sign the files, that I'm now personally responsible for this loan, which totals $500,000. Oh, and Danny tells me that Ed's behind on payments, 6 months behind. The bank has frozen my assets, the CDs, the IRAs, the checking, the savings. Frozen, Danny explains to me, is a euphemism. They're going to take my money unless I can pay off the loan by the end of the week. Well, when I leave the bank, I see Bob O'Clock again through the glass doors, his gray suit, his pinstriped hair. What I do next, I've not done before in my life. I hurry out of the bank so Bob does not see me. I turn my head, I run away, I go home to my house on Bray Barton. Oh, there's still lots of flowers and food left from the funeral. Oh, in the refrigerator, there is a casserole made up of nothing but boiled apples, Spam, and noodles. Ugh, nobody knows who brought it. Yeah, it's pretty scary, but Debbie says we should keep it till it learns to talk. Well, I go into Ed's office where he spent most of his time, on the phone at night with, his foreman, with Joy, with other men. Sometimes he'd close the door. So then I go into the sunroom where I lived, and I see that I have 3 messages on the answering machine that Debbie bought us to prove that she actually phones home on Sundays. Well, the first message is from Tootie in Boca Raton. George Erskine died at his office at the glass factory. Just keeled over one day in the middle of a meeting with his auditor. Oh, he and Nancy were supposed to go to Hilton Head on Saturday. Well, the second message is from Debbie, who tells me that she's been invited to a writers' conference in Saskatchewan. For some reason, she has to pay for this herself. Oh, she even tells me the exact amount. And would I like to get out of town and come babysit the twins for a week? Well, the third message is from a voice that I don't hear very often. Yo, Jin, it's Dino Disperbio. I'd like to have lunch, like to talk to you. Give me a call. I hate these fucking things. Well, that's what he said. So I got Ed's book and I found his number and I called him back. Oh, Mr. Disperbio, I would love to have lunch, but honestly, I'm just basically not up to it yet. And there's a pause. Well, we got some business to discuss, Jim. Oh, well, I'm free now, Mr. Disperbio. Hey, not over the phone. So I meet him the next day at the Green Mill Luncheonette. Everybody in town does business at the Green Mill Luncheonette instead of in their offices. I don't know what they do in their offices. Have lunch, I guess. When I get there, Dino is sitting at a booth in the back. I won't say that Mr. Disperbio is fat, but pretty much everybody else would. Sit down, Jen. I do. You're looking good, Jen. Tell me, are you wearing a federal wire? I have never been asked this question before. I think I handle it pretty well, though. I say, no, I'm not today anyway, thank you. Well, I'm gonna get to the point, Jen. You know your husband Ed, he was a real wheeler dealer. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, a lot of cups of coffee. He picks up a knife and he cuts into a piece of peach pie. Ed ever get you to sign anything? My collarbone has been on fire since I heard his voice the night before. You see, Jin, Ed asked me if I wanted to buy half of this landfill that he owns. I think he needed the money, Jin. And I says to him, hey, Ed, look, I'm not interested in buying into no partnership, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make you a loan at a very good percentage. How much do you need? And he told me, and I'd give it to him. Oh, how much did you give him? It was $500,000. At what percentage? 50? I am not a financier, but even I know this is not a good rate. Did you sign any papers, Jen? I shake my head. Do you have the money, Jin? I shake my head. Well, what are we gonna do? Dino Disperbio is the owner of Smith Trucking. They have no trucks. And there has never been a Mr. Smith. I go home to the house on Bray Barton. The red light on the answering machine tells me I now have 4 messages. The first is from Tootie in Boca Raton. Art Wise was found dead in the drugstore that he owns. The store's been locked up by the police and they sealed his files. Well, the second message is from Danny. He really needs to get back to Bob O'Clock. And the third message is from Bob O'Clock, who wants to have lunch with me at the Green Mill Luncheonette. And the fourth message is from Debbie, who tells me that the Mazda has been in an accident, which I assume means that she has been in an accident, but the way she phrases it, it sounds like the Mazda had the night off and got into a little trouble. The repairs will cost more than the insurance will cover. Yeah, she even tells me the exact amount. I have to call somebody, somebody in the family who can help. So I pick up the phone and I dial Frank, Ed's brother. Oh, what's the problem, Virginia? Hey, not over the phone. So I meet Frank the next day up at the club in the grill room, which we all call the coal room because of the coal wall that was donated by the James family in like 1959. Oh, Debbie says it looks like something that Frank Lloyd Wright would have done if he'd spent too much time in Appalachia. Who knows? Virginia, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, I say, and I'm not wearing a wire. It's strange to look at Frank, to see the parts of Ed in him. He's like a dream of Ed that's not quite right. Well, Frank is a developer, so we talked for a while about the property market, about his son Randy's impending marriage to one of the Wickham girls, which pleases Frank and his wife Lorraine to no end. Randy is being groomed to take over the business, and he still lives at home. Debbie calls him Boo Radley, without the charm. So, over the shrimp cocktail, I start my speech about Danny, about Bob, about Dino, and finally I stop talking, and Frank speaks. Virginia, you know that Ed was a real wheeler dealer. How much did he borrow? It was $300,000. Oh, at 50%, I asked. Frank looks hurt. Virginia, I was his brother. I gave him 18%, and truth be told, I'm taking a beating. I explained to Frank that I have no cash, no savings, nothing that's not frozen or encumbered, and Frank is just staring at me. You have the house. I blink at my husband's brother. Virginia, Randy's getting married at next month. He and Courtney are due back from St. Bart's on the 1st, and well, they were thinking of building something on some land that I have, out behind McCausland Manor. But, he's always loved your house. Oh, he loves old houses, you know. Yep, big old white houses with lots of character. Character is very important to Randy. Then he should get one, I think. Oh, and those trees, the big oak trees lining the street. Oh, remember how Randy and Debbie used to play together in those trees? They never played together in those trees. Randy would take his pants off and throw rocks at cats from the fourth tree on the right, while Debbie stayed up in her room, reading something called the Bell Jar. Now, I could have Randy Court in there, oh, let's call it the 15th. New paint, new rugs. Oh, Lorraine has some really good ideas about that master bedroom. I go home to the house on Braybar. I now have 6 messages waiting for me. The first is from Tootie in Boca Raton. George Erskine died when it turned out that he was embezzling from the glass factory. Art Wise was a suicide because of some phony prescription drug deal. What's with these guys, she says, and she hangs up. The next call is from Danny. He really needs to have a meeting with me, and he's willing to come to the house. And the third message is from Bob O'Clock's secretary. Bob really has to talk to me, and he's willing to come to the house. And the fourth message is from Dino Disperbio, who wants to come to the house with a friend named Vinny. The fifth message is from Lorraine, who knows of an apartment for rent behind the shopping mall parking lot. And the sixth message is from Joy at the office. Do I have any ideas on how to make payroll this week? I start upstairs to bed. As I'm walking down the hall towards the steps, I stop. I see something under the front door. Well, it's a manila envelope shoved halfway through. So I open the door. It's below zero outside. Snow on the grass, ice in the trees. The street is quiet. So I pick the envelope up, shut the door. It's unmarked. So I take it upstairs to my bedroom. I go into my bathroom. I lock the door. Ed's hairpieces watch me while I open the envelope. Inside is this piece of paper. And it's got letters pasted on it like a kidnapper's ransom. I have a list of 13 things about Ed Carpellotti, embarrassing to him and to others. Have $1 million ready by Friday. Small bills, unmarked, in a suitcase, or I will release the list. Tell no one. Not surprisingly, it is unmarked. George Erskine was embezzling from his own glass factory. Art Wise was selling prescription drugs under the counter. Ed Carpellotti was... What will they say about my husband? Will they say 13 things? More? What is it with these guys who built businesses, grew families, constructed fortresses with their bare hands and died so frightened and alone? Who couldn't tell their wives their secrets, their fears? Ed was a Catholic, and I am not, and that was a bone many years ago, but I'm beginning to understand a few things. Yeah, I'm beginning to understand sin. Oh, not the mortal sins or the venial sins, but the sin of failure. Oh, that secular sin that knows no organized religion. Who do you go to when you've committed that? Your banker, your lawyer, your brother, your godfather? No one absolves failure. No one lights a candle. You go mad. You pray for death and madness. Your mother and a cow in a room in Las Vegas. He had run out of plans, ideas, wheeling and dealing. The last thing he dreamed of was a land of gamblers in the middle of a desert. I live in my husband's desert now. I owe 3 times as much money as I thought I had in the world. I'm a widow. I am a widow, and I am supposed to be drinking gin and tonics on the balcony of a townhome in Boca Raton with Tootie Vaughn. I am a widow, and we are supposed to buy new cars when our husbands die. want so badly to tell Tootie. I take out my china and my crystal and my silver and my jewelry and I put it all out on the dining room table. I don't know where I can sell it all quickly, but it won't be enough. It won't be nearly enough. Not for Bob or Frank or Dino or whomever or whoever wrote this note. This note. Friday is 2 days away. There are 46 messages on my answering machine. I do not answer any of them. I have not told a soul. I have not told a soul. I am screaming so slowly, so dimly, so no one can hear. God, where did I meet my husband? Why can't I remember where or when I met Ed? I pick up the phone and I dial Tootie in Boca Raton. We trade bits and pieces for a while, who's alive, who's dead. Why, Tootie in Boca Raton knows more about what goes on in this town than anybody who lives here. And then I ask her my question. Tootie doesn't have a clue where I met Ed, and then I just go to pieces and I tell her everything. Did you notice this cane? My Aunt Stella gave me this cane. I took care of Stella in her final years, around the time Ed bought the house and Debbie was teething. Stella was a crazy old drunk who had one eye, smoked cigars, and drank gin out of a bucket. In pictures, she looked like some ancient female pirate, all wild white hair and toothless grin under this black eye patch. Debbie said she looked like the illegitimate daughter of Miss Havisham and the Hathaway shirt man. And I think I get that one. Stella gave me this in the nursing home the day we brought her in. Oh, no, Stella, I said, you keep this. You may need it. She just grinned at me and winked her one eye. No, you hold on to this. You'll need it. I like this. I won't sell this. It's amazing how all the loans are due on the same day. I'm sitting in my sunroom at 8:30 a.m. waiting for the hordes to descend. It helped to tell Tootie about everything, though, about the list, and she promised she wouldn't tell a soul. Yeah, I'm frightened, but I'm ready. I have my answering machine and my purse and my cane. Let them come. The first call comes at 9 a.m. Ginny, Bob O'Clock, hi. Say, I understand there's gee willikers, a kind of a list that Ed had, about some of his wheeling and dealing, and well, Ginny, I just want you to know that whatever is in that list is just a darn pack of lies. And the bank will do anything it can to make sure that it's not an embarrassment to you or to anyone else. We'll do anything. I'll do anything, Just don't worry about the loan. Just keep it to yourself. And he hung up. Second call came at 10:42. Yo, Gin, Dino Disperbio, hey, listen about this list. What do you say we call it even? Square one, 0, 0, don't call me back. Well, I hate these fucking things. The last call came just before dinner. Virginia, Frank here, long pause. Randy and Courtney will be living at home for the foreseeable future. Call me if you need. Tootie says hello. Tootie has blabbed to everybody, and the idea of what's in that list has scared them all off. What is in that list? God, what kind of dealings did Ed have with Frank, with Dino, with Danny, with whomever? For the rest of Friday, I wait for another demand from the author of that note. But it doesn't come that Friday, or the next Friday, or the Friday after that. Within the month, we start to dissolve the business, sell off the assets, because the bank loan has been forgiven, and the creditors quieted. Danny tells me I'll have some money to invest, to retire on, to buy a new car. I don't need a new car. At the office, Joy handles most of the work. I just sign the papers. As I'm signing the last one, I tell her, I'm recognizing Cuba. Joy doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, I'm flying to Wisconsin tonight. Yeah, to babysit the twins. But first I had to come here to the funeral home. It's another service, you know, somebody dies every day. Well, Joy offered to drive me. And we were a little early, and she insisted on coming in to wait with me in the lounge. And I said, no, I'm fine. I have my cane, I brought a copy of the bell jar, I'm okay. But she really wanted to sit with me, and she seemed odd, so I didn't say no. We were never close. Oh, Joy loved my husband, and that made things strange. So we sit in silence. Finally, the last viewing begins, and I stand up, and Joy is holding this manila envelope. It's just like the one that was shoved under my door. It's from Mr. Carpelati, she says, and then she walks away like quickly. Well, I wait until Margaret Mary Walsh and the rest of the mourners have gone into the parlor, and I open the envelope, and inside is a list. 1, I have never loved any other woman but you. 2, I cannot look at your hand without wanting to hold it. 3, I wanted to build you a house, but you loved the one on Bray Barton so much the day we drove by, I never had the chance to change your mind. 4, in my wallet I keep a picture of you when you were 10 years old. I fall in love with you again every time I see it. 5, I think about you every night before I go to bed so I can dream of you in my sleep. 6, My Friend Irma Goes West was the best movie I never saw. 7, I have always understood our child more than she could ever imagine. 8, we met at the Green Mill Luncheonette on February 22nd, 1955. 9, I'm writing this in St. Joseph's Hospital. I'm less scared than tired. 10, I have made mistakes. 11, but I think this last plan will work. Joy has all my instructions. 12, you could never keep your mouth shut. I knew you would tell Tootie Vaughn about the list and she would tell the world. 13, oh, Mary had a little lamb.
do I see? Oh, to, bluebirds singing a song. Nothing but little bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the day hurrying by, when you're in love, oh, don't they fly? Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on.